Blessings, Soul Family. Welcome to A New You Makeover podcast, Upgrading Human Potential. I'm Megan, and I invite you to join the anti-aging revolution. Before we begin, let's connect to our home frequency as we expand our consciousness and become limitless. Place your hands on your hearts. Take a deep breath. We ask to resonate in the frequency of eternity as we create our new earth reality. Thank you. I love you. It is done. Now let's start living our highest potential. On today's show, we're talking with Laurie Maloney about the benefits of meditation, how it can actually make you look younger, and its other amazing benefits. She is a certified meditation instructor, modern mystic, and healer. She received a bachelor's in fine arts from the University of Texas in 1991 and has studied and practiced various energy healing modalities since 1998. Her fascination with alternative and holistic healing methods led her to become a meditation and mindfulness instructor, receiving her certification from the McLean Meditation Institute. Laurie's interest in vibrational and energy therapies were a catalyst for continuing exploration. She studied sound healing with John Ballou in 2013, and she trained and received her certification in biofield tuning in 2019. She is a stellar waves crystal light bed therapist and a certified feng shui consultant. Laurie is passionate about the extraordinary effects and benefits of vibrational and energy therapy, biofield tuning sound therapy, crystal light therapy, and meditation, and they have all brought the extraordinary benefits of vibrant health and vitality and profound sense of well-being and balance. Laurie inspires people to listen to their own inner wisdom. She combines this talent with energy and vibrational therapies, allowing her clients to experience lasting health, balance, and well-being. Best of all, people from all over the world can benefit from her meditation classes and energy healing because they can be done in person and at a distance. Energy knows no bounds. Laurie, welcome to A New You Makeover.
Hi, Megan. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Oh, thank you. I'm just so excited to be talking with you today. And I love your work and obviously your extensive background. So I know that you'll just have lots to share with our listeners today. Meditation is just something that I feel, I practice, but sometimes I feel I don't even know the depth or breadth of what it can give an individual or what it can bring to us. And so I just have to ask, because I know this is something you talk about, does meditation actually have the ability to make us look younger?
Believe it or not, it does. And that it's such an exciting thing to learn. To me, it's like the icing on the cake. But I also believe that meditation is sort of like the magic pill. It literally improves everything from your health, your relationships, your focus and concentration, enhances creativity, and it does indeed help to make you look younger. And it does that by helping to produce certain chemicals in the brain, such as melatonin and serotonin, as well as DHEA, which is considered the youth hormone.
That's amazing. So, is there a certain point at which that starts happening? Do you have to meditate for so long? Do you have to be a pro? Like, how does that work?
So, of course, if you meditate one time, you're not going to look suddenly 10 years younger. Meditation is a practice. However, so it is said that for every year that one meditates, it adds a year of youthfulness to your life. So in other words, if let's say you're 40 years old and you've been meditating consistently for 10 years, then you would have the physical body of a 30-year-old. So that is how it works. And when you meditate, you are actually using and strengthening your pituitary gland and your pineal gland. And those are, that is considered also the third eye. That is a little bit above and in the center of your eyebrows, in the center of your brain. And those are responsible for creating these chemicals. So as you are meditating, you're strengthening those particular glands, and so your those glands are then secreting those chemicals. So repeated and ongoing, a consistent meditation practice will definitely help in that youthful department.
Absolutely. Sign me up.
Right.
So, and what I love about meditation, and this is a question I have, is it can be so simple and you can do it anywhere. But do you have a recommendation? Like, do you need to be seated? Can you do it while like on a hike and kind of tuning in? I mean, how do you feel about those different forms of meditation?
So that is a fantastic question. And my teacher, Sarah McLean, always used to say you should not meditate lying down because you're prone to fall asleep and then it becomes a nap and not a meditation. And that makes perfect sense. However, I've become a little more lenient with my clients as well as myself. Because sometimes, like if you first wake up in the morning and it's cold, you don't really feel like getting out of bed, but you just want to do a meditation to get you to ease yourself into the day. So sometimes, you might want to turn on, meditate a recorded meditation, like to bring you into the morning. And then of course there are meditations like Yoga Nidra, which is a lying down meditation. So I feel like you have to tune into yourself to determine how tired you are. And if you're feeling tired, then it's probably better to sit up because then you will fall asleep. But if you're wide awake and you make the intention to remain aware and alert, setting intentions are very powerful, then likely you won't fall asleep. But sitting gets your spine in proper alignment so that the energy can flow up and down your chakras. And so that also can be a little more powerful, a seated meditation. And as far as time length, it's always been said that in order to really get the full effect of a meditation, a 15-minute meditation is ideal, because sometimes it takes that long just to quiet your mind. So I hear a lot of people talking about, that they meditate every day for 5 minutes, and meditating for 5 minutes can certainly calm you down and bring you into the present moment and help to release some stress, but it's not going to give you the full effect of a full 15-minute session.
That makes a lot of sense. As you were saying that, I was curious how you feel about guided meditations, because some days I just will get into a meditative state or listen to some music or just silence. But I have found I've also really been enjoying guided meditations. Do they have the same, impact outcomes?
That's another great question. Yes, they do. So I sort of see it like I love a variety. I don't want to eat the same thing for breakfast every day of my life. I don't want to wear the same shoes or do anything the same for that matter. I want to travel all over the world. I don't want to go to the same place every time. And for me, that's the same with meditations. There's so many different varieties of meditations from every different tradition. And there are all kinds of mantra meditations and guided meditations, guided visualizations. There's just so many. So we at our studio, we teach all different types of meditations, and so that you can find ones that resonate with you. And then some days you'll be in the mood for a specific one. You might wake up and say, you know what, I really feel like doing a mantra meditation today. That's resonating with me. Or you might say, I feel like my chakras are a little bit out of balance. I feel like I want to get my, energy in alignment. So I'm going to do a chakra meditation.
That makes sense.
Or, you might have oh, sorry, I was just going to say, perhaps if you're having trouble falling asleep, Yoga Nidra is a wonderful restorative meditation.
Absolutely. Sorry, I think you just cut out for a second, but I feel like variety, just like anything, whether it's the skincare you're putting on your skin, like it's good to keep it interesting. So meditation, it sounds like it's the same thing.
Exactly. And And so, you'll just sort of know, it's just sort of like trying different foods. One day you might feel like Mexican food, another day Chinese food, another day Vietnamese food. So the more types of meditations you try, you'll know what particular meditation is feeling good for you on that day.
That makes a lot of sense. What about as far as like a daily practice? Is it critical that even if it is just 5 minutes, but like making sure you do it every day for consistency and for benefits?
I do recommend a daily practice of just 15 minutes, and we all have 15 minutes. And I always say that anyone who says they don't have time to meditate is the one that needs to meditate the most, because everyone has 15 minutes. But what you'll find is that it recharges your battery, and it feels so good that you'll begin to want to meditate, and you'll create that time. It's just it feels so good. And I actually meditate twice a day. I meditate in the morning to set intentions for my day and to sort of plug in to my higher self. And then I usually have one toward the end of the day. I call it my happy hour meditation, again, to recharge my battery and just to sort of reconnect. Meditation connects you with your higher self. It's that, you're the source energy within you. So I kind of liken it to plugging yourself in. It's sort of like you're the toaster and the electricity runs through you, the electricity being the energy of your source. And when you meditate, you're literally plugging into that energy, the highest part of yourself.
I love that analogy because, we do tend to be so busy or in this idea of productivity, and we got to constantly produce or have a list and think about things. But the truth is, and I found this personally, taking more time to be still and not think, the answers do come through. And I think that's because I once heard that like your heart whispers and your mind yells, or like your ego yells, but you need to make time to really hear those whispering thoughts of your divine. Would you agree with that?
Oh my gosh, you just hit the money. You hit the nail on the head. I always get my cliches wrong, but that's so funny that you just said that, because I literally was listening to a podcast, I think this morning, and it said that exact same thing, that your heart whispers, and how important it is to follow your heart and follow your bliss. And that is the only way to tune into your heart's true desires, is through meditation. I mean, you'll get those inner promptings when, if you are not meditating, you could still be in a meditative state, or some people call it the zone. And athletes get that, runners get that, when you kind of get into that zone. And that is sort of a form of meditation in motion. So you might connect with your heart energy and the whispering of your heart, still during motion. It's not a formal seated meditation, but that is one of the most important things. And the more that you do it and you open up that heart energy and the wisdom, and you start listening to the wisdom from your heart, then the more light comes to you, and the more intuition, and the more sense of well-being. And as you were talking about being productive, what's so interesting is regular meditators are more productive than non-meditators. You are so much more efficient and get so much more done in less time because of the effects of the meditation.
Yeah, just sitting here, I was in a really strong practice, and I'm like, I better bring this back, because now I'm kind of wishy-washy with it. But when I was doing it, I was just reflecting it, just everything. And, it just was more in flow. I felt like I was flowing versus like resisting or forcing. And
Yes.
Sometimes I think we don't even realize when we're leaving the flow, because we just have let out the outside distractions kind of take over.
Yes, I love your choice of words, because what meditation does is, when you slow down your thoughts and you quiet your mind, you release resistance. And when you release resistance, that is when you do get into the flow. And that is when, wonderful things start happening in your life. Meditation is also amazing for manifestation. And so when you're in the flow, people, places, circumstances, and events all start falling into place. And it's just an amazing ride. It's a wonderful journey. That's when you can truly start enjoying the journey.
Absolutely. And we talk a lot, at Eternal Gold and just about the consciousness. And as we make time and take care of ourselves and become more conscious beings, it impacts even those around you, even if they're not practicing it, because as you're in flow and you're reflecting that higher vibration of yourself and you're at a higher frequency, others naturally are bringing up to you because you're not dropping to them.
Yes, absolutely. And you'll even notice that plants start growing better around you, and animals are not afraid of you. And there have been studies where people who are meditate regularly, there is less crime in their neighborhoods and less emergencies and ambulances. It's incredible, the studies that have been shown. And when people meditate in groups as well, it is that much more powerful.
Oh, I believe it. So do you feel like in your studio, how does that work as you meditate in groups? Is there a class size that's more effective, or does it just vary?
So that's a really good question. I started meditating about 20 years ago, and I meditated on my own initially, and I had never even tried group meditation until maybe 10 years ago. And I felt so silly on the first one. I got the giggles because I felt so weird meditating with other people. I had to pinch myself to stop laughing. But once the instructor started and I got into it, I felt the energy of the others, and it's so beautiful. So in our studio, it's a really tiny studio. We used to be able to fit about 16 to 18 people, but now with this pandemic, when we have to be socially distanced, I'm limiting the class to 6 in the studio. But the beauty of it is that we are now online, so anyone from all over the world can join us. We offer classes via Zoom. And so you really do, you're being guided by an instructor. And this is really helpful for people that need guidance and they maybe don't know how to meditate. And because it is a learning process, how to train the brain to focus and to be present. So that's the beauty of having instruction. And you're with like-minded people. And so there's always a question and answer session at the end. You can always share your experiences, and you have that camaraderie with other students. And, it's just a beautiful experience. So if you don't live in my city and you're meditating at home, then in a way you're getting the benefit of both meditating alone, because you're not literally in the same room, but you have the power of that group meditation and the camaraderie from joining the class.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to sign up when we get done today. So, and I feel like I've talked to a few individuals who maybe just aren't as, I guess, bought in or in this mindset that you and I are. Probably most of our listeners are in it. But I had someone ask me, well, how can that work over Zoom? Like, I was doing some work over Zoom, and I said, well, we're all energy, and energy, as I said in your bio, knows no bounds. And
Yeah.
so you can receive that collective frequency of the individuals in the room, even if you're tuning in through Zoom, and you can still feel and be present and like share in that energy, because we are all vibrating, we're all one. And so that's really cool that you're able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I do a chakra meditation, and I always check the chakras. I do an analysis of everyone in the class prior to the meditation so that they can know where they might have some blocks, and they can, put extra attention on that during the meditation. And then we have our meditation. And then afterwards, I check the chakras again to let you know what has been cleared. And it is a very powerful meditation. And so I started checking the chakras at a distance with everyone who's tuning in on Zoom. And I've always known that there are energy workers that do distant healing work, but I had never up until that point done it myself. But I couldn't believe how easy it was, because literally the connection, I mean, it was like there was no distance between me and the people, in the meditation on Zoom. And I could check the chakras as easily as if you were right there. The energy literally knows no bounds, and it is always accurate, and it's amazing. It's like magic.
It truly is magic. So I had the same thought, and now I do some of that through Zoom and distance, but you feel as though you're right together. There is no separation. You could be, I was working with a woman in Israel the other day, and it felt like we were sitting here together. I could feel her, and it was a beautiful session. But I think it's hard for some people to wrap their heads around. But once you do it or you experience it, you realize that there are no bounds. That was a great
Yeah.
choice of words.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and like you said, it's hard to believe until you experience it. So it is really amazing.
It is. So I'm so curious, Laurie, how did you get into this? I mean, it's in your bio, but what really was that kicking off point for you to make this your career and your passion and fully embody this work?
So I began meditating probably about 20 years ago, but I started out as a sporadic meditator. I would meditate sometimes in the afternoons to recharge my batteries before I would pick my children up from school. This is when they were little. And I would always feel great, but I wasn't doing it regularly until I was in the middle of a divorce. And the negative energies of the divorce were really wearing on me. And I felt like my negative emotions from it were just starting to poison me. And I felt like I couldn't control my emotions no matter how hard I wanted to be in alignment and think positive thoughts. And I knew, I really believe in the law of attraction, and that you create your own reality, and that your thoughts create your emotions and all of that. But when you're in the middle of a traumatic experience, it's so difficult to have dominion over your thoughts and emotions. And I really needed help. I felt like, I don't know if you've ever seen The Princess Bride. It's my favorite movie.
Yes.
But like even any fairy tale, when you are going through a spiritual experience or any kind of growth, sometimes you have to go through darkness to get to the light. And so there's like a deep, dark forest. And at every turn, I had like monsters and just crazy things happening to me. And I needed to get to the light at the end of the tunnel. And so I'll never forget, I was dropping my kids off one day at school, and I had received an email that just made my blood boil, and I felt these negative emotions pulsing through my blood. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. If I continue feeling this way, I'm going to come down with the disease. I knew that. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, I felt like this came from my highest self, from the divine. I had an inspiration, and a light bulb went off and said, you need to meditate every single day for 30 days, and this will transform you and get you to the other side. And I thought, oh, yes, I need to do that. I'm starting today. And I committed right there and then to start meditating every day for 30 days because I was determined to get through this and to transform. And so I began, and before the 30 days were up, I was feeling so amazing that I would wake up in the morning and I would be excited for the day. I was feeling so happy and energetic and positive and like amazing, truly blissful, and for no reason. Like it wasn't like I'd won the lottery or I hadn't met my soulmate. I simply was waking up feeling happy and truly blissful and connected. And I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't even think that people could just wake up feeling that way. And I knew that that was because of meditation. And so at that point, then amazing things started happening in my life. And as I had said previously, that things begin to manifest, wonderful things. People, places, circumstances, and events all started happening. And a couple months later, I did meet my soulmate, and I now am remarried. But at that point, I just decided that this is so transformative, and it has always been my passion to help others on their spiritual journey. And I've always been very passionate about holistic healing. And I decided that everybody on this planet needs to tune into their higher self in order to be the highest version of themselves. And I wanted to teach people how to do that, to really connect with their highest self, their inner being, so that they could have, be, and do, create the life of their dreams. And so that is now the biggest pleasure I have, is in teaching others how to do this.
That is just a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing. And I love that, you know, I think what people don't realize is they might look at you now and you have your soulmate and this business and you're meditating and you're beautiful, or all, whatever the things they say. But the truth is, you chose to listen to your higher self, and you had to walk through some darkness and some unknown and get uncomfortable to find that. But you listen to your higher self and you followed through. And I think that it's such many of these stories where people are on the other side, that you had to walk through some darkness to get there.
Yes, spirit will definitely take you out of your comfort zone. And, you know, I was born an introvert, very, very shy. And the thought of public speaking, I mean, I would literally rather go to the dentist and have a root canal than, you know, speak in front of a large group of people. But this has really challenged me to overcome that fear of speaking in front of people. And because, you know, if you don't, you have to share your talent. We're all here. We all have a special talent and a gift to bring this world. And it is really a disservice if you don't share that. And so it's so important to do things and face your fears and get out and, you know, do what you are being prompted to do.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful message. And I do like that you listened, because even myself, I heard, like, the other day, I feel like I've been getting these messages and not quite grasping or grabbing on and listening yet. And I might not just be ready, but I think we do receive from our divine, from our higher self, these messages. And it's important to really tune in and listen. And I think the other thing when you were talking that I thought of, that's just such a good reminder, when you said you would wake up feeling so happy and you didn't even think that was possible and nothing was that different, is we have the ability and the choice to choose that and to choose happiness. And it's as simple as, like, meditating and doing those things for yourself. That's not the money or the relationship or any of those outside sources.
Right. I think the majority of people in this world are feeling good based on their observation of something. You know, if they see something, like, you know, maybe they land a wonderful job, or they, you know, get a new car, or, you know, they have a new relationship. And so they're basing their emotions on what they're observing. And, you know, this is more getting into a good feeling place and then allowing wonderful things to flow into your life, rather than, you know, only being happy when those things flow into your life. Because in truth, wonderful things really won't flow in until until you're feeling good and positive. So, you know, it's just an easier way of going about things. It's going with the flow rather than, you know, swimming upstream.
Absolutely. And even just to circle back to the beginning, it's when you go and flow and you're just manifesting or just kind of being in that space, you do just start to radiate and look different, and people do notice. And you probably didn't change your diet or exercise or force anything or have the best skincare routine, and yet you're glowing because you're radiating from the inside out.
Well, what's also interesting is that when you tune into your highest self always, you always know, when you tune into your heart, you know, you'll be prompted to start eating healthier and drinking more water and taking, you know, having more self-care, because it's all about loving yourself. And so you'll start craving better foods and higher vibrational foods. And that's how I wound up finding your skincare line, because I didn't want to put chemicals on my face anymore, but I also wanted a company that, was in alignment with my belief system. And so it is amazing how I found you guys. And I just love the products.
Oh, thank you so much. That's awesome. And it's that tying in. They're just there to support that frequency and bring in that higher vibration, and where we're, trying to resonate and be. So it all aligns. Well,
Yeah.
what a great story. So where can our listeners connect with you if they want to join a class by Zoom or just learn more about your work? Where can they find you?
Absolutely. So our studio is Unwind, that's UNWIND, meditationstudio.com. And it's also unwindstudio.org, just to make it easier, because typing in meditation, it's a long word. So we can be reached at either of those URLs. And as well as our meditation, I also do energy healing. I do the biofield tuning at a distance as well, and chakra balancing.
Awesome. So we can find all of that at your website?
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed talking with you, and just being in this session. It's been wonderful. So thank you for sharing yourself. And it's been awesome.
Well, thank you so much. And I hope that your listeners are inspired to meditate. And I'm happy to answer any questions about meditation. If you need any guidance, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you for that. That's great. Well, before we go, are you ready to create the new you? Are you ready to transcend beauty and reprogram what it means to age? We invite you to learn more about how you can start resonating in the frequency of eternal youth and join the anti-aging revolution. Visit eternalgoldbeauty.com to find out how you can become the new you. Thanks all for joining, and have a fabulous day. Namaste.